Welcome to the Be the Solution podcast with Maria Quattrone. Today's quote: whether you think you can or think you can't, either way, you are right. And that's from Henry T. Ford. I love that quote. It's one of my favorites. Today's guest is Matt Smith. Matt went from working out of his basement to building a mega real estate team, which ranks number one in Missouri and number two in the state of Missouri, number 57 in the nation. Matt is the president and CEO of Matt Smith Real Estate Group. Matt is pursuing his passion of helping others in a couple ways. He is partnered with John Cheplack as a real estate coach with Cheplack Select Coaching, where he's a coach to some of the top teams in the country. Matt is also a founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate that serves as a platform to give back to the real estate community. The Matt Smith Real Estate Group ranked number one in its marketplace for 7 years in a row and has joined the prestigious list of Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies as one of those companies for 3 consecutive years. In 2022, Matt's team of 30 agents has closed 733 homes. Matt has a tremendous passion for helping people and agents reach their goals, loves coaching other real estate professionals throughout the country. In fact, Matt mentored one of his agents to sell 100 homes in her first year as a realtor. Above all this, however, Matt's favorite jobs are those of loving husband to his wife and his 2 beautiful daughters. Matt, it is so great to have you on the Be the Solution podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful November day.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with 1 line, but look how far you've come.
Let's dig right in. So you have been in the industry now how many years?
I've been in the industry, I guess, 10 years now. Time flies.
Yeah, time does fly. And so bring us through your real estate journey. I actually know your story because I heard you speak on stage in the Cheplack event. Actually, I heard you twice now speak. I know you've been speaking nationally around the country for different real estate brokers as well as some of the software and such. So just give us a quick glimpse of how you got into the industry.
So I come from very humble beginnings. I'll tell a quick version of my story. My high school graduating class had 30 kids. So I grew up in a town with no stoplight. Never knew real estate was a thing until I started in real life. I was working at a sawmill, stacking slabs, and decided I just had a wake-up call one day and said, you know what? I want more. I want more for my life and my future family, and just started trying to find more. And through that journey, I ran into some people that appeared to be wealthy, that appeared to be put together. And they said, how about you come work for us? I'm like, what do you do? And they said, real estate. I'm like, well, how much money could I expect to make? And they told me a number. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Let's do it. And so I got my real estate license and started into the business. And like a lot of people, the start of the business is tough. I'll tell a brief version of this story and say, in case maybe this relates to someone right now, as times are hard, the market is changing. There's a lot of agents that are struggling right now. I've been through struggles also. And some of those struggles look like a brand new licensed agent with 3 months of electric bills behind, past due, a 6-week-old baby with no way to provide the stuff that was needed for that baby. My wife got sick, was in the hospital. She had some surgeries and complications. And so life happens to all of us. And so it happened to me. I was able to adapt and overcome. And so hopefully maybe that inspires some people listening that they can as well. I firmly believe one of the things you heard me talk about, Maria, at one of the events is I live by the phrase, life doesn't happen to me, life happens for me. And so all of the hardships that I went through, and maybe the hardships some people are going through right now, are a good thing if you reframe them into what lessons can I learn and how can I grow from it. And I think we can all agree that the industry needed to be shaken up and needed some change so that we can become better agents. We can serve the clients at a higher level. And that's how I'm choosing to look at it. And because of that, we are continuing to win in this marketplace. Once I got into real estate and started to become successful in the business, my first full year, I sold 74 homes. And the decided I wanted to actually spend time with this family that I was working so hard for. And so I created some leverage, started a team, and went through a lot of trials and tribulations through that as I progressed. But long story short, we continually grew year after year after year after year. And as of last year, we're on the Real Trends rankings multiple years in a row. We were Inc. 5000 fastest growing company 3 years in a row, and have an amazing team here in the state of Missouri. We're number one team in the state of Missouri, and loving life and winning in this marketplace, regardless of what happens around us.
It's fantastic. Matt, there's something I want to touch base about that you mentioned. Life happens for me instead of to me.
Yep.
Have you heard of life happens through me?
I haven't. I've
I was
not.
just wondering about that. So life happens through me. So life can happen to me. Life can happen for me, right? So you have the victim and the victor,
Yep.
right? But think about something to think about. Just want to put out there about life happening through us. So it's not one, it's not the other, because we need both.
Sure.
Because in some way we were the victim, are the victim, and then we have the victor over there, right? So it's like that bully versus victim mentality, or victor and bully mentality versus through me. Because if we take the lessons of being the victim, because we all have been one, and take the lessons of the victor, who's always like the person we admire, our boss, and we merge them together and looking at it from a lens of like through me. I don't know, just thoughts.
Yes. No, yeah, I'm processing as you're saying that. I like that perspective. It's it kind of goes in alliance with like everything happens for a reason, right? And so I think I love that reframe of, because I do think that some people can maybe misinterpret the message of like victim and victor. Like, just because you're a victor doesn't mean you have to be a bully, right? The victors that I surround myself with, and I know that we run in some of the same circles, those people that have overcame, have went through things, like to your point, help other people along that journey with them, right? And I think that's what you're referring to. And that's
Yeah, so it's like there's always like this yin and yang of it.
Yep.
Not that everybody's a bully, but it's like it's being, I guess, I'm saying it in a way of like more of the extreme of it, right? The extremeness of what it is. But we need the both of them.
Sure.
Because if we take the lessons from the past and bring them to the future of where we are, then we can move forward to where we want to go. And I think that is really important, especially today, because you know as well as I, and you touched on this about the difficulties that people are experiencing in today's environment.
Yes.
And a lot of it comes to mindset.
100%. I think all of it is from mindset, to be honest.
So if we can't go back and say, wait, our future is in our past. Future is in our past. So what things can, I guess, because I know that you are big, extremely big on the mindset. So what things can people pull from the past to keep them close, so that can allow them to push forward in the current environment that we're in?
So I think that's a great question. And I think why I make that point and why that quote means so much to me is that I've just seen people that play the victim card too much. And there's not that we aren't all victims at times. We are, right? Things happen to all of us. But it's how you respond and how you interpret that situation, what you learned from it. Are you going to get back up and continue to push through and overcome? Because like we all have a story. We all have hard times. Things happen. It's the lessons we learn, to your point, through that journey, but you don't get those lessons through the journey if you don't overcome, right? If you stay in that victim mentality and you stay in that, well, I am where I am because of everyone else. My real estate business is suffering because of the market. If that's your mentality, then you can't change it. And I believe in extreme accept responsibility, personal responsibility for everything, because I believe if I don't own it and I don't accept it, I can't change it. And so I don't want to be stuck in something that's out of my control, because then there's nothing I can do to move forward, to move past it, to grow. And so if I sit here and say that, well, my business is suffering because the market is down, that means that I'm saying the market is the problem. If the market's the problem, guess what the solution is? I will only be good when there's a better market. Instead, I choose to think this market challenges that we have, because it is a challenge. It is different. There is change. But I think it's a good thing, because I think challenges are also opportunities. And like you said, reset your mindset and reframe. All of our greatest challenges in our life are also our greatest opportunities. Without challenge, without change, doesn't come the blessings and opportunities that we have in life. And so I think I just choose to look at these things as a huge opportunity. And if you reframe your brain to say, what can I do to adapt and overcome, and use this as a lesson to become better, to do more, to help more people, instead of saying, well, there's nothing I can do because the interest rates are high. Well, then there's nothing you can do. But if I choose, well, I'm going to control the controllables. What can I control? I control my attitude, my mindset, my activities. I can control those things. But if we're in that victim mindset of it's a bad market, nobody's going to buy, nobody's going to sell, then our activity is down. Our mindset sucks. We're not happy. We're not motivated. And then, of course, that translates to we're having bad business. But that's not because of the market. That's because of how we responded to the market. And I think a lot of people just misinterpret that. And that's why that quote means so much to me, is because you can't be a victim and be successful. Not saying that you're not a victim, not saying that stuff hasn't happened to you, but if you stay in that space too long and don't pull yourself out of it and learn from it, you will always be a victim. And then nobody's coming to save you. It's just nobody. You have to be the hero of your own story. Nobody, the world isn't coming to save you. The world owes you nothing. I don't mean that in a bad way, but they don't. And so you have to put your boots on. You have to get to work, pull yourself through the hard times, learn those lessons. And then amazing thing happens. Amazing things in your life happen on the other side of that.
So I agree across the board. Just was taking a couple notes. One of the things you said, control the controllables.
Yes.
So that's something that I say constantly. People say, well, how things are going. I said, well, they'll ask about this and that, things that have nothing in my control, family, whatever. I say, only thing we could do is control the controllables. And the only control that I have is over myself.
Yep.
And the actions and my mindset that I will choose. And again, choose. And one thing, Matt, I want to also say, you said about things happen. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Things happen, and they happen to all humans. We all have challenges. The one thing that we can get from that also, right? And perspective is what allows us, if we allow it, allows us to succeed at a high level once we get perspective. And I bring it down, Matt, to think about, okay, you'll hear a lot of times people, they CCC, criticize, condemn, complain, which is like a no-no around here. And I always say, okay, are we in Ukraine? Are we in, God forbid, the Gaza Strip? So sometimes when we can't get our own perspective, sometimes we need outside perspective.
Yes.
Of even going like that far. When you think about what the people in the Middle East and in the Ukraine and Russia are going through, and you think about the opportunity that exists right in front of us in the great USA, North America. And I was walking, I live in the city, so I was walking down the block from my home to the office, which is about a 7-minute walk, last Friday. And I walked by about 8 guys with a truck with concrete. It really wasn't too nice out. It was kind of spitting. And I said, oh my God, thank God I don't have to shovel concrete and be out in 100 degrees, 10 degrees. Well, I don't think you can do concrete in 10 degrees, but you get the idea, right? We are so fortunate to be in an industry where we get to control how much we do or don't do and have the opportunity that exists and be grateful for this environment. I think it's one of a tremendous opportunity to grow, to learn, to regain focus, and to really build your business.
Yes, I love it. I think I wrote down a lot that you said there because I totally agree. And you said one very powerful word that I don't think people understand how powerful it is. And you said choice. We all have choices that we make in life. And I think sometimes we get paralyzed and we freeze and we are afraid to make a choice. And I call it squirreling. Right here in the Midwest where I'm from, if you're driving down the road, you see a squirrel come across the road. He sees a car coming and doesn't know which way to go. And usually if you don't make a decision, you end up being a dead squirrel. So don't be a squirrel. Make a decision, make a choice, decide. And guess what? If you run across that road, it's not as the right side of the road you need to be on because, oops, I need to go back to the other side. Make another choice and go back across. But standing in the middle of the road when a car is coming is not the right choice. And here's the other part that I think is so crucial with choice. Some people delay making that choice they know they need to make, and they think that is not making a choice. But not making a choice is a choice. You are still choosing, but you are not choosing the path that you want to go. You're letting fate or whatever else choose your path for you. And so that is the worst choice that you can make is no choice.
Agreed. No choice is the absolute worst choice to make.
Yes. Because it's still a choice, right? But you're now again control the controllables. Now you're not in any control of anything that happens from that choice because you didn't make it. And I think there's so much that we could unpack there, but I'll cover a couple other things that you mentioned. Focus, perspective. When you said focus, so I believe focus is a superpower. And I believe that if you narrow your focus, you expand your potential. If I were to ask every single human being on the planet, if they're listening to this show, they want to grow, they want to be better. There's some aspect of their life they want to improve. We all as human beings want to constantly improve. So if I were to ask, do you want to increase your potential? Everyone would say yes. But you have to narrow your focus to increase your potential. But it's counterintuitive. Will I have to do less to do more? Yes, 100%. Especially in today's marketplace. As an example, one of the things that I have that I'm really, I'm a real estate coach. I'm a team leader. I've been speaking all across all North America. And one of the things that's a constant is I am telling everyone right now, the secret to your success for this real estate market today and next year is 15 hours a week. If you are you willing to work part-time 15 hours a week? You will have everything you ever want in any market, a 15-hour work week. The problem is anyone can do it, but not everyone will do it.
So Matt, let's tell our listeners what you mean by that. I'm sure they're curious. Wow, I only have to work 15 hours?
Right. Well, you have to be intentional with those 15 hours.
Let's go.
Focused. All right. So it's 5 steps. 15 minutes educating yourself each and every day. Educating yourself on a skill set, educating yourself on the marketplace, educating yourself on some aspect of your life for your professional business that you need to grow. Give me 15 minutes a day, every day. A podcast like this, reading a that has to do with the mindset thing you're going through. It could be reading your MLS market stats, doing a market update, something to educate yourself each and every day. Number 2 is 15 minutes of a huddle with your team members, a leader you trust, some of your peers, other people, like-minded individuals that are on the same path as you. A key part of that huddle is there has to be some peer-to-peer accountability. We need someone to hold us accountable to what we're going to accomplish that day. There's lessons to learn. There's all those things. But if you spend 15 minutes with like-minded individuals talking about your lessons from the day before, what your goals are for today, and you have accountability tied to that, it is magic. 15 minutes a day doing that. Number 3, agents are going to hate me for saying this. You need 30 minutes of role playing each and every day. You need to practice your scripts, your dialogues, your objections, what you are saying to your clients right now in this market. And for those of you that say, I don't need scripts, don't work for me. I don't need dialogues. I don't need talk tracks. If you don't practice on role play, you are practicing on your clients. Here's my view, and let me challenge your perspective if you're thinking you don't need role play. Maybe you sold 1,000 houses last year. Good for you. You still need role play. And here is why. We are privileged in this business to be able to help people with the biggest purchase or sale of their lives. They count on us. We need to be sharp. We need to be our best. And if we aren't practicing in role play, we are practicing on our clients, and they deserve better. Number 4, 1 hour of prospecting each and every day. No distractions, a call list, a script, a dialogue of exactly who I'm going to call, exactly what I'm going to say, with a cadence of follow-up, a cadence of this text if they don't answer. I'm going to have a double dial if they don't answer, if they're a new lead, whatever that lead cadence is. 1 hour completely tunnel vision of prospecting each and every day. Number 5 is 1 hour of follow-up each and every day. And I think this is the most important. Real estate agents over the last, call it 5 years, did not have to follow up. Business fell in our lap. We worked with the low-hanging fruit. We worked with the ones that were screaming the loudest, the ones that were closest to the transaction, and we forgot how to actually build relationships, educate and inform people, and build those long-term pipelines in our clients. And so it's no one's fault. It just is it's a default, in my opinion, it's a of the market that we were in. The unicorn of a market that we just got out of has created lack of follow-up in our industry. And so if you could really master and nail follow-up, you can actually dominate in this business, because I'm fortunate to coach some of the top real estate teams in the world. And I know of a top team that shut their leads off completely 90 days ago. They had their best month in the history of their company. No new leads in the last 90 days. Nothing but focus on their all of your business. If you're on a team like Maria's, if you're on a team like mine, and you're in the right rooms with the right people, you have all of the stuff you need in your database. We just forget about them. We don't educate and inform them, and we don't know how to follow up properly. And most agents don't follow up because they don't know what to say. You need a really good talk track, and you need value to add to that conversation. I look at follow-ups as a value exchange. Let me reframe this for a perspective. If you were to go to the bank and withdraw money, but you had never made a deposit, they will put you in jail. That's called stealing. But we as salespeople think that we can withdraw from all these people that are in our database without depositing anything into the business relationship equity account. We have to deposit value. We have to educate. We have to inform. And we have to give them valuable information and build trust and rapport over time, so that when it is time to withdraw, it is time to move them and nurture them to the next step of the relationship, we have that trust, we have that rapport, because we over deposited into that account. And I believe, interest rates are weird right now, right? But traditionally, if you're investing in something like a bank, there's called compound interest. I believe the compound interest of our relationships is far greater than compound interest of banking. If I just give and give and give, when I need to receive, I need to withdraw, I will have 10 times, 100 times what I invested into that relationship account to withdraw from that time if I need to. But I think we salespeople, we ask, withdraw before we deposit. And I think our follow-ups, if we just give valuable information and we add value, then that is a huge key to success in this marketplace. So if you put all 5 of those together, 15 hours a week, you will absolutely crush it.
Excellent points, Matt. So somebody is asking themselves right now, gosh, I think I do those things.
If you think you do those things, then you don't. Let me start there.
I think I do those things. But if I really did those things, Matt, what do you think the results would be? I mean, houses or families, do you think an agent could help?
So I don't know your market. I don't know your leads. I don't know your database, but I believe in proven. And here's my proven model that I have on my team. And it has never failed me. Our proven model is our team standards is still 20 houses per year. That is what it requires to be on our team. In order to do that, the path is in the math, and we have broken it down. And again, this has never failed. If you have 5 conversations if you have 5 conversations per day, 5 days a week, you will sell way more than 20 houses in our environment. Talk to 5 people a day. That's it. Again, let me say one of my favorite quotes. Anyone can do it. It is simple. Anyone can do it, but not everyone will. If you talk to 5 people a day, I will guarantee you will sell 20 houses. But you know how many people actually do it? Not very many. It's a sport. We overcomplicate it. We get in our own way. But if we just break it down to its simplest form, and let's go back to, instead of relying on what is happening to us, let's talk about the things we can control. I can't control interest rates, but are people still buying and selling real estate? Yes, overwhelmingly so. Are agents still selling houses? Yes, overwhelmingly so. And so maybe I need to hold up the mirror and look and say, it's still happening. It's just not happening for me. And so what activities, what mindset, what skill set do I need to change so that I can win in today's marketplace? And it literally, if you give me in my environment, if you give me 5 conversations a day, you will have everything you ever wanted.
So easy,
It is.
but yet so difficult for so many.
Yep.
Most enter this industry for freedom. But if you don't have discipline, you'll never have freedom.
Beat me to it. Discipline is the path to freedom. People just don't realize it.
That's right. Path to freedom.
If you're disciplined, literally 15 hours a week, if you can be disciplined to have 15 hours a week, the rest of the week is yours. But you got to give me those 15.
And so I want to go back to what you said about role play.
Yeah.
And we sold 1,000 houses last year. We don't need to role play. So my question to that person who would say, I sold X last year and I'm this and I'm that, was later the same environment as we are in today. And are the conversations the same? Have to be the same? Are you using the same conversation from last year, the year before, today? Because if you are, you'll have a hard time winning in today's environment. The call of, hey, just calling to check in.
That is the worst.
Just calling to check in. Calling to see if I could be a resource.
What would you do if you were trying to say you wanted to buy something? Say you wanted to buy a car, and that's what a car salesman calls you because you created it as a lead. You were recently looking at a car, but that's the script that he gives you when he calls you. Hey, I'm just calling to be a resource. Are you buying a car from that person? You're buying a car today, but you're not buying it from that guy. We expect in real estate that's going to work. That's why role play. That's why being around the right people. That's why educating yourself are the first 3 ingredients to this recipe. Because without that, I don't care how many people you call. Yes, activity will win. But if you do the right activity with the right skill set, that is the magic recipe.
The only way to get the right skill set is to practice.
That's right.
You're either practicing with a colleague or you're practicing on the client or the potential client, which you probably won't get.
That's right.
In today's marketplace.
A couple things you said I would like to break down is I wrote down 2 words: expectations and sacrifice. And so I believe I'm a quotes guy. I just remember a lot of quotes. It really helps me whenever I'm lesson or I'm going through some of my personal life. And one of the quotes that I've remembered for a long time is, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. It has always been true throughout my life until this market shifted. So as an example, you made a great perspective shift. Is if you did the same activities today, do you think you'll get the same result as you did last year or 2 years ago? No real estate agent would say yes. They understand the market and the outside circumstances have changed. And so again, let's go back to the power of choice. So if you're doing the same activities, you by default, whether you're admitting it to yourself or not, are choosing to sell less homes by doing the same amount of activity. It's the power of choice. So what are our expectations with ourselves? And are we honest with ourselves? If you have to do double the activity to get the same result, we know what the recipe is. You're just not willing to make the sacrifices to get the result that you desire. And that brings me to sacrifice. And I believe that we all have sacrifice in life. And most people, maybe not most, some people sacrifice is optional in life. But I believe sacrifice is required. You either sacrifice for the things that you want, for your goals, for your hopes, for your dreams and desires, or all of those things you want in life become the sacrifice. You get to choose. I choose to sacrifice for the things that I want so that I don't have to go to my kids when I come home and say, sorry, I can't get you that for Christmas because daddy didn't feel like working hard today. I make the
pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Which one heavier, right? What is it? Tim Grover says, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons.
100%. Is something I've been thinking about, Matt, and I'd like to get your perspective on it. So you probably know some of these people: Dan Sullivan, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, Grant Cardone. Dan Sullivan has been in his company about a decade or so ago. And he had coaching called strategic something or another. But basically, the premise of it was it's easier to 10x your business than to double your business. And once you start thinking about 10xing your business, what do you 10x your business? But if you did, what do you have to stop doing and then start doing? And it goes back to where the foundation is and where you are and what you're willing to let go of to focus on, because due to reticular activation, right? So we bring it back to like a car. Oh, I have a white BMW. I'm getting a white BMW, and everybody has a white BMW.
The red car effect, right? Yeah.
Right. So whatever it is, oh, I'm pregnant, and everybody, I'm not pregnant, by the way. I'm not announcing I'm having a baby. That ship has sailed.
You heard it here first, everybody.
That ship has sailed. The Be the Solution podcast. But a woman becomes pregnant, and then all of a sudden, all she sees is pregnant women all around her.
Yeah.
Right. So it's what we focus on expands. So how could somebody use that to their benefit?
So that's, such a great perspective. And I think that's why our environment is so important. Are you around people that are aspiring to do more? Are you around people that want to be the best version of themselves? Are you around people that are the victors? Are you around people that are playing the victim card? Who you surround yourself matters. Like we've heard it all of our lives. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But I don't think we truly internalize it at the levels that we should. It's because, am I saying that you have to remove everyone from your life? That's not what I'm saying. But you need to limit your interactions with people that don't serve you in your mission. If they are not of like-minded people, let's go back to my 5 steps, my 15-hour work week. It was a 15-minute huddle a day with like-minded people with similar goals that cared enough to help hold me accountable. That's a key ingredient to this recipe. You have to be around right people that believe similar things, that have similar goals, that are aspiring to be better, and they're also care enough to help hold you accountable. And so, as an example, you said a couple of things when you were talking about that. Is I think that we have, as human beings, we have limiting beliefs, and we allow other people's limiting beliefs to be projected onto us, but we also project our own limiting beliefs on ourselves. And so when you said it is easier to 10x your business versus double your business, I would be willing to bet a lot of people said that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. But as being someone that has been willing to give it my all and jump all in with both feet, I have a podcast myself called All or Nothing in Real Estate. That's just the mindset that I if I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it my all. And it is way easier to do things and live life whenever you know I'm doing this. I have 0 options. All chips are on the table. I'm giving this my all, which would be a 10x version versus a 2x version, because I'm going all in. You would be amazed at what happens in your life when you just actually quit playing halfway, quit giving half-hearted effort, and play all out. Have 0 options. How do you react when your back is against the wall? Do you fight? And do you fight hard enough? Because I think maybe potentially your back's against the wall right now. And so you can either turn around and give up, and you can go get a real job. You can go clock in and clock out, or you can give me 15 hours a week intentional, and you can change your life for you and your family forever. The choice is yours.
That's right.
A couple of things I want to talk about really quickly on that is that with your environment and with your mindset is so many people, I said this earlier, they live in overwhelm. And I think what happens is we think they listen to great leaders like Maria, and they're like, look at all these things Maria is doing. So I have to do all of these things in order to be successful like Maria. But I think what people misinterpret sometimes, or maybe don't see the full story, is success a lot of times is not about addition, but it's about subtraction. It's about doing less things, but the things you are doing are the most important, and you're doing them extremely well, and you're doing a lot of them over and over and over again. Again, that's why I made a simple formula. You give me 5 things each and every day. You will become way better at all those things. And I guarantee you will be. But how many people actually follow those 5 things consistently? They'll want to add in this magic bullet or this other lead source or this, I have to make this one Facebook post. You can do all that stuff after you give me those 15 hours. Right. And I think a lot of times we get overwhelmed because I can't do it all. You don't have to do it all. But have you really audited yourself? Have you audited the people you're around with your environment to ensure that the things you are doing for yourself, both with your health, with your business, with your relationships, are they actually contributing to your life, contributing to your mission, or are maybe they dragging you down a bit? And I think there's a lot to that. Subtraction sometimes is the key to success. What do I need to say no to? You don't always have to say yes to more things. Sometimes you need to say no to more things.
Oh, 100%. Saying no. You know, something that is, according to this about saying no, this is like a sidebar for a moment. So I said to the sales MQA team, I said, okay, so when you're calling somebody, don't say, is this a good time to talk? And they're going to say no. So I said, say, is this a bad time to talk about 123 Main Street? Most people are not going to answer you yes, right? They're going to answer you no. It's not a bad time to talk.
I love it.
Taking down the sales guard, right? The sales skepticism. No, it's not a bad time to talk. So they get a no from them. So that's the first no, because the whole idea is to get as many no's as you can so you can get the yes. And the more that they say the no, the quicker you get to the yes. Anyway, it's something that, you know, when you were saying that, I thought about.
Yeah.
So you do the 15-minute huddle. We do a 15-minute huddle as well. And I want your thoughts on this, Matt.
Okay.
We just recently changed our cadence. So our new cadence started this week. I'm not sure that everybody likes it, but this is how it goes. So what was happening is if the agents weren't meeting their commitments from the day before, they started off the meeting by saying, I didn't make my commitment, which is not very powerful.
Yep.
So I said, and here's our new cadence. Okay. We go around, and ours is on the conference call. So do you have closings today? Are there any listings getting signed? What offers are out of negotiating? What offers are going out? Are any listings going live? What listing appointments you have today? What buyer appointments do you have today? Commitment to new appointments scheduled for the day, and commitment to conversations.
Love it.
I don't know if you can get, that's our business, right? We got to have the conversations, to have the appointments, to schedule the appointment, to have the buyer appointment, to have the listing appointment, to have the listing go live, to have the offer go out, to have the offer negotiating, to have the listing signed, and have a closing.
Love it. I love the get away from the negative mindset, because then people are demotivated by the huddle, and that's not the focus, right? There needs to be accountability, but so how we start ours is who has a win they would like to share with the group? Who had something amazing that happened yesterday, right? We start with a positive energy. And if I advise for someone listening that was maybe like, well, Maria, you mentioned all those metrics, which all those KPIs are important, by the way, but that's just overwhelming to me. I got you. Cool. Find one and improve it for the next 30 days. I'm going to have more conversations. Find the gap in your business and go all in on that one gap and improve it. And let's say that you double your conversations in a 30-day period, and now you see a gap in appointments set to met ratio or whatever that may be. Now you can fill that gap. But where I think I've made as a leader, and I see agents do it as well, is that we try to fix it all at once. And it's these little tiny hinges, as John Cheplack says, that swing big doors. It's these little adjustments. And I think that we don't give enough time on that one metric or enough focus on that one metric. Again, I said, I believe focus is a superpower. So as an example, we announced a sales contest today, and we track those metrics. I'm a tracking fiend, but we're focused on one. And so for the next 30 days, there will be only one metric our sales team hears about, because everything all in on one thing. And we are going to improve that aspect. And when you do that, the results are astounding. We have literally doubled our appointments month over month before by doing this, because we just are all chips on the table. Now, is that sustainable? No. But now we have a new metric. We have a new standard. Talk about limiting beliefs. Now we believe we can do way more. And we live in a whole new world because we did all of our focus just on one thing. And so there are a lot of moving parts in this business. There's a lot of moving parts in the real estate market right now. My advice is less is more. Find one thing that is a big metric for your business, go all in and do it astonishingly well for the next 30 days. And then when you pick your head back up and look at how far you've come and maybe make an adjustment to do a different metric at that point. But don't judge it off of one good day, one bad day. It's that consistency over time.
Absolutely. Ours is focusing on conversations. So we measure conversations. And then if we look at appointments, so based on that, if there's not too many conversations, not enough appointments, something's wrong with the conversations. But I think that one of the things that happens a lot of time, and you discuss this, is the fear and overwhelm. Not so much that you even said the fear, but people get into overwhelm and then fear, or fear and then overwhelm, or both simultaneously. Right. I think getting crystal clear about the mission,
yes,
individually and as a team and organization, is critical in today. And I look at the numbers, and if you did the same thing that you did last year in the number of conversations, you will do 50 to 70% less business.
Yep.
Period.
100%. There's no you can make against that. Because it's a different marketplace. So knowing that be a fact, again, back to my point, is we are by default, if I'm choosing to do the same activity, I am choosing to sell less real estate. That is my choice. But I think sometimes we put the blinders on and we don't see what's in front of us because we don't like the answer.
We don't like the answer. We meaning not us, but others.
So I had to, but when this market started shifting, my team felt crazy, but I'm like, it needs to shift faster. Let's go. Like, I'm ready for it. Like, I was not that I really want this, but like, I wanted to crash. How bad can it get? The worse it gets, the better it is for us. That's just my mindset because of the opportunity that I see during these times.
I agree.
As an example, when COVID happened and the whole world was getting ready to shut down and nobody knew what was going to happen, I doubled our lead budget that day. Everything, all in. Somebody's going to win at all. I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to win. I'm going to make sure it's us. And that's just the mindset that I have. Maybe it's not smart always, but I believe growth. I believe in myself, the skill sets I've acquired over the years. I believe in the mission that we are part of, the people we have here. And it's my responsibility to invest in them and to clear the path for them to have the opportunity to change their life for them and their families.
That's excellent. One of the things that I've been obsessing about lately, and I talked about this week in my weekly tips that I give out on Facebook Live, is the magic happens when nothing's happening. And
I love that.
Taking the time, as much as you work, to rest. And being obsessed as much as you are in working in your business, also in resting. And if we are tired, pushing too hard, then we cannot perform at the highest level to get us the best results and the best clients that we can choose. They choose us, but we choose them. So if our mind's all frazzled because we don't have enough sleep, I mean, the average human needs 7 to 9 hours a night. You need to know exactly what you need. I could tell you I'm an 8-hour person. If I get 7, I'm not probably going to be as in a good of a mood as if I got 8. And 9 is saved for Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So it's something that for years, I didn't really think was as important as it really is important. I don't think people take it seriously. I think that it's not treated like it is for the business time spent.
Yeah, I want to add perspective to that. I love it. I agree. I'm going to add asterisks for I'm very, very similar thinking, but a few differences. And so you said rest. I'm going to change that with doing something that you're inspired to do, that you want to do. And so what I mean by that is I think sometimes we get in the trap of we have to live, especially being in this business, we live by everybody else's rules. They tell us when an appointment, they tell us when this. And I think if we just adjust that and we get to tell our time where we do what we want to do, when we want to do it, and we live life by design, you can do that in this business, especially like you pointed out, people join this business for freedom. But how many people are really free? It's because they're not willing to be disciplined and make the tough choices. Again, power of choice to do the things they want to do. And so, yes, rest is important, but I also think it's important that you do something that fills your bucket, something that makes you happy, something that gives you joy. As an example, I love working late at night when my kids are in bed, working on a project for work. I love it. It fills I wake up the next day inspired, motivated, like energized. And so find what works for you. But I think what is there's a lot of people that can get overwhelmed and burn out. And when times are tough, or just in this business, or just in general, you need to find that reset for you that works for you so that you can show up to be the best version of you, whatever that may be. Some people it may be golf. Some people it's more sleep. Some people it's a passion project of theirs. Whatever it is for you, find that thing that gives you that reset so that you can be the best version of yourself.
Oh, you definitely have to have something that you're passionate about. And I do enjoy the work like you do. So I do things at night, like research. I'm going to I spend an hour, 2 hours things that I'm working on so I can get ahead for the next day or the next week. Really, I'm working like week to week on these projects. So
one of the things that I'm going to interrupt really quickly, one of the things that just popped in my head that I've been doing recently that maybe you could benefit from, it's been super helpful for me. I call them clarity breaks. I will block out 30 minutes or an hour. I will literally set a timer on my phone and I will put it somewhere where you can't find me. I'm locked somewhere, and I'll have a whiteboard or a legal pad, and I just let my brain release all of these ideas, all of this energy, and I put it somewhere and track it. And whiteboards are my favorite just for the visual, but it allows me to draw, map out things, get all of these crazy visionary ideas out on paper. And it has been a game changer for me, because I think a lot of times I feel burnout. I feel like, how am I going to get it all done? And a lot of it comes down to, I have things that I feel are unexecuted that are weighing me down. And so if I get them out of my head onto paper somewhere, or at least have them somewhere, it releases that tension for me, and that turns into stress. And it's been helpful for me.
That's awesome. Love it. I'm a whiteboarder. If you could see, I have 4 big whiteboards in front of me right now.
I love it.
Yeah, all kinds of things. And I use Slack, and I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a great idea. And I open up my Slack and I have a channel called MQ Notes.
I love it. That's same. I think a lot of us crazy entrepreneurs and leaders, I think we should all do a mastermind at 2:30 a.m. That's like my internal clock. I have an idea every morning at 2:30 a.m.
Yep, I love it. Hopefully I'm not 2:30. I'm not waking up. It's usually 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, but yeah, it's crazy. Some fun questions. Okay. Favorite place to travel?
Favorite place to travel? I love to travel, period. All of them would be my answer. But if you force me to pick one, my favorite place to travel has been Jamaica. I love beach, but I love the culture and the people at Jamaica. There is no stress. It is no problems. Nobody on the schedule, no problem on, right? I love it. The people are so nice. So that's my favorite.
Okay. So favorite podcast that you're currently listening to right now that's really this is really cool. Everybody should know about it.
I have 2. Real AF from Andy Frisella. He's one of my mentors. And then Ed Milet, who I'm actually a part of Arte Syndicate with both of them, an entrepreneurship group that they lead. So those 2, always great advice, always practical. Ed's more of the PG-13 version, and Andy's more of the F-bomb version, but they're both great messages and great info. And I have to self-promote the All or Nothing in Real Estate podcast. It's pretty good too. You guys should check it out.
Absolutely. Ed Milet, talking about him, he is one of my absolute favorites. Again, he is a PG. He's a lot of different guests on high-level people. I mean,
yes,
very impressive.
I just saw something. He was recently voted as the #1 mindset coach in the world. Pretty crazy.
I love it. The power of one more.
Yep.
I talk about that in everything. Power of one more everything. Do one more day, one more call.
Go the extra mile. It's never crowded. Just do one more.
No, I love it. I love it. And then we'll podcast the same thing. Any books that you recently read or you want to read? Or
I read a lot. There's a lot of them I could about one that I'm really deep in right now is the Alex Hormozi's new book, the $100 million offers, $100 million leads. Those 2 in unison. I've actually done some keynotes on some of the stuff that I've broken down and applied it to real estate, is how to use offers to create better leads, more leads, that creates more sales. I think that as real estate agents, we are not always the best marketers, and we can fall into the mindset of these leads suck and this and that. And I think that just understanding what value you bring, how to articulate the value to the marketplace. Here's another quote: value unarticulated is value unappreciated. And so anytime you feel that someone doesn't appreciate your value, what I do for myself, again, extreme accept responsibilities, I hold up the mirror and say, have I articulated the value where they can appreciate it? Instead of saying, well, Maria, you don't understand the value I bring, instead of putting the blame on you, again, I can't change that. And so I flip it around, and anytime I get an objection, I get a consistent theme with a buyer or seller, I will create value around that and articulate that value so I solve their problems. To me, sales is solving problems. And so if I can solve their problems when I handle an objection, but then I want to take it a step further and create a package and a unique selling proposition to offer these leads, to offer these clients, not only will I get more clients, I will get higher intent clients, and I will have more value to provide to them. And so I think sometimes we fall into the trap. Like I asked this question from stage, and I think it's great for the audience to maybe listen and think on is, if I were to tell you I'm a seller and I'm going to interview you and 4 other real estate agents, I'm going to sell my house, I'm listing it tomorrow. Why should I choose you? You got 30 seconds, go. What comes to mind? What do you think of? What is your instant reaction? Besides panic, which most agents are like, oh my God, I don't, you're putting me on the spot. But again, let's go back to role play. Let's go to practice. Let's go to all these things that we've talked about in this podcast. If you don't have that internalized, are you really showing the value to the consumer that you should? Again, they're trusting you to sell the largest purchase of their life. We need to be highly skilled. We need to have a lot of value. And so I'll close it with this. A lot of people think like their answers that they give are great answers. Well, I act with integrity. I work really hard. I have a proven track record. I'm honest, right? Like those are the common ones that I get. And my question back to them are, that's awesome and good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you are. But shouldn't that be what the seller expects?
Absolutely.
Barrier. That should be the standard to even be a real estate agent. The fact that that makes you stand out is a whole nother issue for our industry. But what if that could they expect from you, and then you can stack on top of that things that make you stand out. And I think that we just don't craft our offer, what makes us different, and the value we can provide to the consumer on a deep enough level.
That was an excellent ending to the Be the podcast, Matt. I'm grateful and thankful for you today and our friendship. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to join your team, if they're looking for coaching?
Yeah, so the best way is to go to allornothinginrealestate.com. Check out our website. You can contact me there. You can get more information on coaching. There's free resources. We have a podcast. It's All Nothing in Real Estate is a movement for me that I do out of passion. It's I just love doing stuff like this with Maria. I love giving back to this industry. It has completely transformed my life, my family's life forever. And I'm on a mission to help more people. So if you want to be helped, you want more resources, you want to connect with me, that's where you can go. Reach me, allornothinginrealestate.com.
Awesome. Thanks again, Matt.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate it.